At last, folks, we're doing the last question. We're doing the first exercise, but we're giving out a last solution on 5. On exercise 5.1, that's what I'm trying to say, okay? Again, pause the video, read through this, and get back to my IDE. Okay? So here's what I already done. What I did is I've already created a scanner. Everyone can see that. I've declared some variables. The very first thing I did was to prompt the user to enter the sequence of numbers, and I've stored all those numbers in a string. By the way, in the textbook, what they did is they used a loop. They used the approach we used on my previous solution. By previous solution, I mean exercise 5.1b. So this is for explosion purposes, right? I want people to explore stuff, right? Because I'm about to do something that we're not used to. Okay. Anyway, this portion here simply takes care of our validation, and in case it didn't get executed, that's where it gets started with the core of this exercise. What I did here, I declared these four variables. Everyone knows what their purpose is, I'm hoping. And this current element here is nothing else but the current element to be retrieved on our sequence of numbers. Okay, so here's the deal. I want to use a scanner this time around to read through my sequence. So how am I going to go about doing that? Okay, you're going to have to check this out. Okay, people are talking. Let me try to stop them. Okay, here's what I'll simply do. I'll create a scanner. This scanner isn't like what we had before. It's scanner. I'm gonna name this one numbers reader, because it will read a string, right? So scanner, I've said this before, using a scanner you can read user input. You can also read a string. Moreover, you can even read a file, right? So in this case, what we'll be reading is numbers. That is exactly what we'll be reading. Or perhaps I should take this and put it at the bottom. Okay, so what I need here is another variable element as string. These two are the same. It is just that the above one, they are of different data types basically. Okay, so now it is time to play around with our loops. So I'll simply use the while loop. Why? I don't know how many times this will execute, right? I'm hoping you don't hear those people talking. People then they don't like thinking they talk a lot. That's why we've got introverted people and extroverted people. Okay, anyways, what I'm trying to say here is while I'm gonna have to use my scanner. While numbers reader dot has next. This basically checks whether or not my element, let's take this one here, for instance. It checks whether or not my my string has something to read. So firstly, it will read this string. I know these are numbers, but because I'll be using the .next method, which you'll see in a sec, everything will be treated as a string. Of course, we can treat them as numbers or integers, but that won't give me a chance to identify what I'm about to identify, right? The problem you might probably face. Okay, so here's the deal. What I want to do now is to go element. Okay, what I want to do now is to go element as string. I simply want to say numbers reader dot next. So that will take care of the current element. And once I'm done doing that, let me change my numbers a little bit. Let's say our first number is something like that, and my second one is something like that, and my third one is something like, okay, let's put there some. You see, this right here is an invalid input because of that add between 8 and 3, that add sign. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll retrieve a string, for instance, just like this one here. What we'll then do, we'll have another loop which will go through our current number, because first we will read that, and then secondly we'll read all of that, and then thirdly we'll read that, right? So now it's time to go through each and every character of our number or string. Doesn't matter how you want to look at it. Okay, I mean, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, so what I'll do is here I'll simply go is I less than element as string dot length, so I plus plus. Okay, what I want to do now is to go if I'll simply remember, folks, we might have a number like right, minus 1232, right? So what I want to say is if I is equals to 0, and the string and element. Let me first tell you guys what is it I want to do. That way maybe the code will make sense. You see, in cases like these ones for negative numbers, what I want to do basically is to read through my whole sequence of numbers, but read for each number I read character by character. So I'll start by 1. I'll read 1, read 2, then 3, then 4 for the first string, right? The very same thing applies for the second string. I'll read 2, 3, 5, 6, and then lastly 2. Same thing applies over there. Okay, but what I want to say right now, for negative numbers, we know that, you see this string here, the element that's index 0 is nothing else but a negative number. So what I want to say is I want to check each and every character on a given string if it is a digit. If it's not a digit, then we will know immediately that the sequence of numbers is invalid, right? But index 0 for a given string is an exception. We don't want to say if we don't want to say this string is invalid just because it has that minus sign. We want to consider that as a valid string. Okay, so how am I going to go about doing that? I'll simply go if I0, okay, and element as string its char I, its char its is I. If this is equals to that, what I'll do is I'll continue. So I'll forget about this case. Okay, what I'll then say is if character dot is digits, I'm checking each and every element of the current input if it is a digit. So this is what I have to put over there. I'm saying if it is not a digit, that's what I'm saying here. Then immediately we know that there is an invalid. There is an invalid system.out. There is an invalid system.out.print. There is an invalid number. Error. A number must only contain digits. Okay. Of course, I wanna exit my program in case that gets executed. So it's gonna be system.in exit 0 as our status. I hope everyone is clear what's going on there. But but once we're done reading through a given string, we can now say that element is given by integer.pass element as string. Okay, now we can then check if element is less than 0, number of negative, is it negative what, elements or numbers? I'm not sure what so if negative elements, we increment that. Else if element is greater than 0, go number of positive elements down. Do we have to take care of the else part? Nope, I don't think so. We don't have to. Let's just go total element. In fact, we do else break because suppose we were here and then now we're about to execute, we're about to deal with 0. Our program, just because we were here, it will check, do we have a next string, and it will say yes because we do have this 0. We'll then deal with 0, okay, blah 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 blah, and then finally you will end up here. We'll end up here, okay. So element, and then what else I wanna do? I wanna go number of elements elements. Done. Oh gosh, what did I decide to call my thing? Oh, I did not have number of elements. I mean, after we're done doing this, folks, this is the core of this exercise. I'll do what I did before, which is to simply copy and paste this portion here. Okay. In this case, it's elements, not numbers. Elements. I hope everyone is clear what's going on here, and in case you've got questions, feel free to ask me, because right now I'm about to wrap up. Oh, I didn't close my numbers reader, that's why we have that warning. Numbers reader. Remember guys, I always tell you to close the scanner once you're done using it. Okay, so let's try to hit the run button and see what we get. Okay, let me put these numbers. Oops, seems like we're good. We can put anything else here. Let's try something like 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's something I want you guys to know, that if we had to put something like this on our two previous solutions, we would have obtained, I mean we would have our program would have thrown an exception. But right here we're taking care of this. Why? We decided to read through each and every character making up a string that is actually our number. I mean, that should be it for this tutorial, you guys. In case you've got questions, feel free to ask me. But the takeaway here is simple again. What I just did is to have a scanner to read through my sequence of numbers. Why? I no longer wanna have a program that will throw an exception in case we decide to put something weird, something that is actually not a number. See, for instance, right here, if we had to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's put a hash, then 3. Boom, we have an input mismatch exception. I no longer want that, so that's why I decided to have a scanner to read through my inputs and then take care of each and every element in that current element, each and every character of the current element. Okay, another thing is what we could have done is we could have used next int here. We could have get rid of this element as string and then read each and every character as an integer. However, again, that would have caused our program to throw an input mismatch in case it comes across a character like that one at, right? Why? Because you cannot convert x from you cannot convert x to an integer. That should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Cheers, I'm gone.